Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and this is another episode of Rank the Tank featuring tier 10 tech tree mediums. So I picked up obviously 3 tanks as usual, and we'll rank them from third to first. At number 3 we have picked the Chisel. So the Chisel is not a bad tank. I mean, to be fair, I like all 3 of these tanks that we'll have featured today, but you can see what we're running on the equipment is optics, vert stabs and gun rammer. And yeah, it's running on the perks. We've got Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Steady Aim, Situational Awareness, Snapshot, Run and Gun, Trap Mechanic and Camouflage Expertise. Gone for predominantly a sort of more accurate gun setup, just because, to be fair, the tank is quite big, so not really much point in sort of putting a load of camo perks on it. I'd rather just make the gun as good as possible. So good points on the Chisel. You've got good alpha damage at 400. Very good forward speed of 57 kilometers an hour, good shell velocity, you've got good gun depression at 10 degrees, okay view range at 400 meters, not bad I guess, and not bad accuracy at 0.32, so it's got some good attributes, to be fair. I mean, the gun is, this is a mercenary tank, so your hull is made up of Centurion, you've got your turret from Patton, and you've got the gun from a Chieftain, if I remember rightly. So yeah, the gun packs a punch, that's for sure. Obviously with that, the bad point size, you get a bit of a longer reload time than you do the FE and the Centurion, which will be coming up. You've got it's sort of base 9.5 second base time. Reload time. Your internal fire chance isn't great, that's 20%, so you're likely to get set on fire quite a bit. I don't suffer too much with it, if I'm honest. I usually suffer with Armour more on the Centurion variants than I do with fires, but it's something to obviously bear in mind. The hull armour is absolutely atrocious, soft as butter, and will get penned quite easily. The turret armor is not as effective as what you think. I think this did actually receive maybe a nerf. Don't quote me on that, but I think when it first came out, it was very strong, and I think then Wargaming sort of gave it some nerfs on the turret to make it not as strong. I think they nerfed the reload actually, if I remember rightly, rather than touching the armor. But either way, in this day and age, the turret isn't as effective as what it used to be. And then obviously you've got your poor penetration over distance. It really does get affected. Obviously you're running APCR on your premium rounds, as well as the standard, or APDS should I say, whichever round, but either way, the penetration, it does struggle over distance. But like I say, I quite like the Chisel. It's for me, it's not a bad tank. It's just out of sort of these 3, that's why I've sort of ranked it third. So we're going to go for the kill shot on the dreaded Avery here, who has hit us in the turret and sort of taken quite a few hit points away. We're actually on Sverigorsk here for this replay, and we pretty much pushed down the 1-2 side. We've kind of taken map control overall, to be fair. The team are pretty much pincered in now. They've all sort of decided to just sort of sit at their spawn, which is not very effective, if I'm honest. And we're not done too bad, considering Sverigorsk is a bit of quite a sort of a brawly map, so it's more favoured for heavy tanks than it is mediums, if I'm honest. But the Chisel, we can make things work. We got side shots on these tanks that are over the other side here, so this is this is sort of prime position for us. We're just keeping an eye on the tanks that are in front of us as well, just to make sure that we don't get put into a crossfire. Unfortunately, we take a huge slap there from one of the tanks over the other side, so they got shots on this side. We need to be careful. We are 4 tanks up, and I've decided I'm going to push out now, but I'm just going to take some time to aim that shot into that tier 9, which I do. The E75 there is looking like he's struggling, and he does get hit by our friendly waffle. We're going to move in, we're going to try and get as much as out of this game as possible, but with 4 tanks left, this is pretty much a foregone conclusion, to be fair. We're going to see if we can get a shot on artillery here. It'd be nice to get a shot on artillery who's just shotgun that Death Star, I think. So he's fired, we're pretty safe now. We get a shot in and we actually set him on fire, which is really nice. I'm not on the move. Try and see if we can sneak a shot into the side of that TD, but unfortunately the light tank blocks our shot. There's only 2 tanks left, and I think we've got a rough idea where they are. They're over the other side, so we're going to see if we can squeeze some shots in here. Just poking up, letting the gun aim in, and we stick a shot in after he gets, before he gets wiped out by artillery. We can see if we can sneak a shot into this tank destroyer. We've loaded the Hesh for this because it's a grill. The Hesh rolls quite high for over 500, so unfortunately we hit his gun mantler there, so we probably should have just stuck to the standard rounds, but it was worth a go. But there we go, we pick up the victory there, and we actually come second place. We got 3 kills at just over 5k damage with 489 assist, picking up the first class and the high caliber medal. But yeah, that is it for the Chisel basically. Like I say, ranked 3rd out of all these. It's a decent medium tank, but I just think the others just edge it in other various ways. So number 2 is the FE4202, and yeah, again, can't complain with this tank. It's very decent, and you see we actually gone for camo net optics and gun rammer on this. We've gone, we've switched over to sort of more camo on the equipment. Gone born leader, rapid reload, 6 sense, steady aim, snapshot, run and gun, trap mechanic, situational awareness, and camouflage expertise on the perks, because we just sort of decided to opt for a more camo friendly setup. I mean, the accuracy is slightly better on the FE than it is the Chisel, and also the FE does have a lower silhouette, so the camo is going to be slightly better, and we just sort of want to improve the camo as much as possible. Like I say, if the accuracy is good, we didn't really sort of want to waste a slot on vert stabs or advanced gun lane drive when we can just sort of go for camo and improve that instead. So anyway, we're on Pilsen, and we're platooned up with Mass, I think, who's also in the FE4202, and yeah, we're just going to get some shots in. So yeah, we talked about sort of the low silhouette of the tank. It's got excellent shell velocity. I think it's just over 1400 meters per second on its standard rounds. It's got over 1100 on the Hesh rounds, which is not too bad. Obviously the Hesh rounds themselves are very nice. If you can hit, if you can full pen your Hesh, you can do sort of over 500 damage on average with your Hesh rounds. So yeah, the Hesh is sort of the highlight of this tank, so to speak. It's got good aim time and obviously reload. Gun depression is at 10 degrees, and not bad view range at 410 meters, so quite nice. You can sort of get some spotting as well. You can play sort of the spotter if your light tank is out of the game. So the bad points on the FE, basically the Hesh rounds. And I say that as in, well, one thing, and I should point out as well, is the Hesh won't actually go through destructible cover. So if I was to shoot that wall there with Hesh, it wouldn't actually penetrate the tank behind. So that's one thing to bear in mind when you're using Hesh. The same as heat. I think heat's the same as well. Gets absorbed into destructible cover. But when you start coming up against armor targets, you can see there we didn't quite hit that AMX right. It didn't pen, and it just does splash damage. So and that's just sort of the upper plate of an AMX 30B. It's only got 210mm of penetration on the Hesh rounds. So you think you come up against sort of heavily armored tanks, IS-7, your E100, your super heavies like Type 5, your Mouse, that's when you're really going to start to struggle, and that's where this tank sort of it gets let down, because you can't really rely on the standard shells either, because I think there's only 268 penetration on your standard rounds. So again, when you come up against sort of big stuff, and particularly if it's sort of, you know, end of the game, you're the last one left and you're up against, you know, an E100, not these situations are gonna happen, you know, quite regularly. It's quite uncommon, but if they do happen, yeah, you're gonna have to sort of be really quite clever about it, and you know, get round the back of those tanks too. You know, especially if you stand rounds, you might not even pen. I don't think you could pen with your Hesh rounds, possibly. Yeah, probably on the back of an E100. But again, the point I'm trying to make is you have to be clever with your Hesh rounds. Obviously, your hull armor is terrible, like all the, you know, as well as the Chisel and the AX. It's not that great. Forward speed isn't as great as the Chisel or the AX either. So it's yeah, there's that to consider as well. But like I say, overall it's a good fun tank, and like I say, when you get those Hesh rounds slinging on those lightly armoured targets, it's beautiful. It really is strong tank on, you know, that sort of thing. So anyway, we are top of the board in that game. We've got 4.5k damage. Must apologise, it wasn't Master we're running with, it was actually our good friend Panda. We pick up 790 assists there with 950 blocked. Bit, you know, not a massive game, but, you know, nice one enough that I thought, yeah, big good one sort of feature on the channel there. So that is the FE4202, which leaves us our last and final remaining tank, which is in first place the Centurion AX. Naturally, this has been probably, you know, this might sound a little bit biased, but it's been one of my sort of favourite medium tanks from day one, basically. I've always enjoyed the AX. And yeah, I've ranked it, you know, above the others for various reasons, but you can see we're running similar to the FE. We've got gun rammer, optics, and camo net to improve the camouflage on this tank. Got born leader, rapid reload, sixth sense, steady aim, snapshot, running gun, trap mechanic, situational awareness, and camouflage expertise. I'm pretty sure that's the same setup as what I've got on the FE4202, again because the accuracy isn't too bad, so I'd rather I wanted to focus sort of mainly improving the camouflage a bit more, make it a little bit more stealthy if possible. So yeah, again, sort of getting those situations where I can sort of spot without getting detected. So the thing with the AX, I think the thing that sticks out for me most of all is the shell types, which are perfect. You know, in my opinion, you've got the best of both worlds. We've got the APCR, which has a fantastic shell velocity, exactly the same as the FE4202, over 1400 meters per second. But you've then got really good shell velocity on your heat rounds, and having those heat rounds kind of makes a difference. You know, we were saying where the FE4202 struggles. Or could struggle with E100s penning, you know, especially with the Hesh. Hesh isn't going to go through sort of anywhere on frontally, or maybe even the side of an E100. The heat rounds, 330 mil of penetration, going to go through, not a problem. So, you know, the AX has that flexibility where the FE4202 doesn't. And like I say, got the good shell velocity, got good accuracy during rotation as well, which is actually better than the FE. Good penetration heat rounds, as I've explained. Good damage alpha at 390, and a good forward speed as well, 53 kilometers per hour. So yeah, it's pretty decent. It has limitations, same as the Chisel and the FE, in terms of, you know, its internal fire chance percentage is 20%, which is quite high. But again, like I say, I do struggle more with getting Armour active than I do getting set on fire. The hull armour is absolutely pants. To be fair, the turret armour, it looks good on paper, but in actual fact, you still can get sort of pen through the cupola. and sort of various points of the turret. It's not as strong as what it was. It's one of those things where I think it's kind of been, power crept a little bit by the introduction of sort of all the TDs and things over the last couple of years. But it's still an effective tank. You still play it hold down. You still can bounce various shells. Not that I'm demonstrating that here on Overlord, just because we're kind of sort of just sort of chasing damage at this point, and we're going up against this Orichi, I think it is. Gone for the heat rounds. Unfortunately, I don't quite aim that shot properly, and I'm just sort of going to try and get into a better position to shoot targets. That Orichi is sort of turtling up and playing quite, it's playing decent basically. And at this point, I'm just sort of just driving around, just trying to get as much, trying to find many targets to get as much damage as possible. We get a nice shot on the artillery there. Probably could have loaded the HE, but decided not to. Just wanted to sort of get as many shots in as possible. Should say we got Kingpin with us playing the big waffle. So we've got that support. He's on the beach there, so we need to sort of try and give him a bit of a hand, trying to get the shot on that artillery. But unfortunately, gun depression just wasn't playing ball. But we do. He misses his shot, and we managed to get the kill on him. Now we need to try and help Kingpin, but unfortunately he gets taken out. We're going to slide down onto the beach. There's only 4 tanks left. Going to sort of get involved now. Unfortunately, we're going up against a chieftain, which is not ideal, so and do kind of need to be careful. Now we've got a C50M just sort of YOLOing around. Don't want to get rammed by him. Just he seems to be focused on someone else, so that's fine. I can get plenty of shots in. I managed to pick up our 3rd kill of the game there. I'm going to try and take a sneaky shot on the chieftain. Chieftain's backing up, so I'm going to take this opportunity to close the distance and try and get hold down. We do get a shot into the side of him for 400, but now he's surrounded, and it's just pretty much lights out. And we managed to get the kill on him, only leaving 1 tank left, which is a tank destroyer. So we're going to try and go on the hunt for this tank destroyer and see if we can possibly pick up another kill, and pick up a little bit more damage. So you can see he's up on the top there rather than the beach, and he's going up against one of our own tank destroyers. I would say he's probably going to die quite soon, but we're going to try and make it there all the same, see if we can pick up some more damage. Just keeping an eye on the hit point, the health of our own tanks. So they've not taken that guy yet, so might actually be able to sneak another shot in. We're just going to make our way there. But this is the AX basically. For me, it's the best one out of all 3, I think. Always been a favourite of mine, and a little bit sort of overlooked these days, but still does the job, I think. But anyway, we come top of the board there with 4 kills, just over 5.7k damage, no assist, and no blocked. But it's one of the games where we just kind of ran away with it a little bit. But picking up the 1st class medal and high caliber there. And finishing off the game quite nicely. So that is it for Rank the Tank, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you did enjoy the video, please like and subscribe. Do you agree with the rankings that I've done for this episode? If you sort of have any agreements, disagreements, let us know. And as always, guys, I will catch you next time.